This was another important point on Twitter. You said prosecution of Bannon for contempt of Congress will impact how Meadows, Patel, Scavino, and others will deal with congressional subpoenas because #Justice Matters.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. Is that because they've all escaped any consequence for doing this before, right? This has just become the norm. I mean, what... Can you explain this inherent contempt? Because that's what you were talking about is, getting the marshals and doing using every tool they have. But obviously there's been some back and forth about what power they have without passing this or that. What?
Yeah. Here's the power they have. Yeah, and first of all, I think Bannon will be happy to sit in jail for a while because I think that's good for his brand, his image, his public relations effort to bilk more money from Donald Trump's base. That's what he's going to do. I don't think Scavino, Meadows, and Patel, these men, I've got the air quotes up, they're not going to want to sit in jail. So I do think the Bannon criminal contempt does serve a purpose. It will send a message to others. But the inherent contempt thing, Steph, here's what really gets my goat. The Supreme Court multiple times, albeit back in the 20s and 30s, said Congress has its own power of inherent contempt to enforce its subpoenas, period. So all that has to be done, and I love Ted Lieu and I love Joe Neguse, who's been a proponent for, Congress flexing its inherent contempt muscles. All they really have to do is vote Bannon in contempt, send the sergeant at arms out to arrest, probably as supplemented by a complement of Capitol Police officers, to arrest Steve Bannon, put him in one of the 4 jail cells up at Capitol Police headquarters at 119 D Street, Northeast Washington, D.C. They've been cleaned out and they're ready to be occupied.
Yeah.
And then let Steve Bannon file a suit and say, oh my goodness, this is not lawful. Because then you know what happens? It promptly moves into the courts and the courts will say, but the Supreme Court said it was lawful. And we believe the way Congress did it is lawful. And now Steve Bannon, you want to purge the contempt? Go testify.
Yeah.
You got the keys to the jail in your own hand. That is what Congress should be doing. Because Steph, when they say we've got to pass more legislation, that's nonsense because they can't pass legislation these days. So let's act to save our democracy.
Thank you. Donald Trump apparently will sit for a deposition today. You predict that he will not get past his name before he starts lying. But there are consequences for that now. This is the first time he's had to sit and under oath, right? He's not doesn't have the power of the presidency anymore. This is about inciting violence toward Mexican-American protesters. I mean, what is this a test case for you?
Yeah, so he's been ensnared only a couple of times over the past couple of decades and forced to sit for a deposition. It never turns out well for him because he can't tell the truth. But and here's what I try to set out in a recent video. Depositions are conducted thousands of times every day in the United States. They're like free-for-alls, right? Because there's no judge there. There's no referee. It's just attorneys often behaving badly and witnesses often lying. I don't want to be cynical, and nobody is ever held accountable unless, Steph, think about what is the most famous instance of somebody being deposed, lying, and then suffering consequences. That would be Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Right? He suffered impeachment as a result of lying about a personal matter in a deposition.
Yeah.
So I think the rules are different when high profile and notorious people sit for depositions and they lie. Maybe we will have the will to hold Donald Trump accountable for the endless lies I expect him to tell in today's deposition.
Yeah. Your thoughts on Christopher Steele saying the PP tape does exist? If you were prosecuting, would you call it the PP tape? Would you call it golden showers? What?
I probably wouldn't touch the tape with or without protective gloves on.
Fair.
So, yeah, I will steer clear of that topic. Though knowing Donald Trump, I will put nothing past him.
Yes, everybody brings up golden showers unprompted. I'm sure he's not guilty. Okay, Glenn, thank you for bringing me back down to sanity for a moment or two. Thank you.
Thank you, Steph. Love you.
All right, love you too.